BTC, Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.
Right, bonjour, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day, etc. How's everyone doing? Are we all winning? Let's put some chilled background music on, even though I always get complaints about it. It's not necessarily for you, it's more for me. Gives me a nice bit of a chilled vibe as I'm sat here looking at markets decimate themselves. How's everyone doing? I was doing great till yesterday. Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why. Still, I hope people learned a lesson. And, you know, you have to treat every single one of these experiences as exactly that. But what's come and gone has come and gone. So let's sort of jump into things and let's talk about next steps. Hello everybody. So firstly, thank you to the sponsor for the stream, bluefin.io. They are, as it says up here, a decentralized digital asset trading platform. So in other words, a DEX. If you don't like leaving your money on a centralized exchange and want to try something a little bit new and decentralized, where you just connect your wallet and trade from there, then give them a go. There's a link below, etc. You can get a share of the tokens, the blue tokens that are released proportionate to your trading volume on there, and I think this is going to be a DEX that does well in the future, so I am partnered with them. If anyone's got any questions about them or they sign up, then drop me your wallet address, etc. in DM, and I'll shoot you some stuff over. Not cash necessarily, unless the volume starts picking up, but you can have some indicator access and stuff like that. Naming my daughter Tia. I like that. I've just seen that pop up in the chat. So yeah, how is everyone doing? Closed my trade, break even yesterday after XRP bullshit. Bull market 2023 to 2023. Naming my daughter Tia, which is obviously great. And it's so over. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to kind of unpick. Is it over? Is it the death of the market? Are we done? Is the uptrend finished? How do we play this if we either are offside at the moment or we're not in any position at all? Capo was right. Probably the best kind of summary of everything that's gone on. Capo is now right. You know, this is going straight to whatever his stupid target was, 12k. You know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I don't know. Is this the beginning of the reversal? It very well could be. I mean, the way that I'm looking at this really is like, if we zoom out on Bitcoin, I'll give you a little bit of kind of how I see the market generally, I suppose, because that'll help contextualize my thought process for you guys. And I think, you know, a lot of people think that people make it in one trade, and very rarely is that the case, right? And I think one of the biggest mindset changes for me personally was when I started thinking in a, you know, 3 to 5 year time horizon on trading, as opposed to like what's going on every single day. Because, you know, every single day, your portfolio, you can have periods where you go like this, you can have portfolio times where you go like this, but over the space of a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you know, you want to see it doing this, and essentially all the starting bits and pieces and blips and down days and up days, they just disappear into absolute nothing. And I think a lot of people take this approach, think, great, that's a wonderful mentality, and then they go down to the 1 minute chart and they go, well, fuck me, it's over. Whole market's over, that's it. I can't make a single penny from crypto ever again. It's fucked. Straight to zero. You know, the irrational, emotional side of the human that just wants that money in their back pocket now kind of takes over, as opposed to looking at this from a systematic perspective and saying, well, actually, there were warning signs across these highs, which I spoke about constantly on my Outlook this week. You know, there was signs of stalling on ETH particularly, which is why I posted that short last night. There's, you know, all sorts of things that suggest that there is a flush coming, and just not to over risk. Like, people do this wonderful thing of, as price goes up, they go, oh look, it's an uptrend, right? Well, I can jump on board this, and then we get a pullback, and then we carry on going up, and they're fucked. They're fucked in that tiny little move, and that's it. Like, at no point this year really has it just been like monstrous uptrend forever and ever and ever, right? You get a pullback. You get pullbacks. They happen all the time. Like, this whole thing, just down. Instant pullback. Like, now a pullback. How far do I think it goes? Don't know. I mean, like, genuinely, would you be surprised in an uptrend on daily time frame for this to pull back? I'll just reset the doodles. Would you think it's completely unrealistic for it to pull back to that 50, which is probably about this high time frame 31k level? Like, do you think that's unreasonable? I don't think that's unreasonable. I think it would massively fuck altcoins generally, apart from Tia apparently, who doesn't seem to give a shit. Oh, and Solana. You know, this is where you kind of look for those alts that are massively outperforming the market. And I'll go into spaghetti in a minute because I'm conscious I posted it this morning. I did a massive, I think it's like a 40-minute video in the Paragon on it. which is, I think, my longest video to date on any topic. But I think it is probably the best video I've ever done. I would say that, obviously I'm biased, it's mine, I did it. But no, I'm reasonably proud of it. So, look at that, that is what you want to fucking see, Jesus. That is beautiful, those kind of V reversals, wonderful. So yeah, let's stick back to BTC, like these kind of sell-offs, like these kind of parabolic moves, you know, I really like, doesn't matter which way you're looking at them. Anyone who was tuned into the stream before knows that I like taking essentially the other side of this trade here, so I like parabolic move, and then a lower high, and then essentially jumping on board the kind of opposite side of that, which in this case is obviously a long. Now, if that mean reverts back up to here, great, or even just here, you know, it's usually a pretty nice trade. I'm obviously not taking that because I'm sat on stream with you wonderful people, and we're chatting markets. But from a higher time frame perspective, do I think that it could pull back further? Absolutely. Am I going to play it like it's going to? No. You know, we've had a pretty good move into this form of range. Just get some doodles on here, and as long as we're holding above here, I think it's pretty reasonable to say, let's see what's going on in spaghetti before I just say a load of rubbish. Because one thing that for me contextually is really important is how alts are bouncing, and you're just going to see me kind of do this you know, live. Now, this is, you know, exactly what I want to see. A huge distribution of alts well above BTC, like Tia absolutely ripping the bed, Floki doing the same. I feel like I'm a horse commentator at the moment, like Tia in the lead, coming up to the edge. But you know, this kind of reaction is really, really promising for me personally, and obviously someone who trades altcoin rotations primarily. But lose that, and then I'll start thinking, okay, maybe I shouldn't be so aggressive on my alt rotations. You know, I need to think about my positioning, and I need to be less aggressive with my rotationary targets. And the problem with rotations and like altcoin moves in general is that you'll never get it perfectly right. So I will approach some days super risk on because we've had some wild days, or because certain coins are breaking out of ranges, or because, you know, a certain coin is, I believe, going to be in play, and I will look to be riding that for, you know, in these conditions, I'm looking for typically double-digit moves. If you wind that back, you know, 2-3 months ago, if I got 3 or 4%, I'm reasonably happy with that, you know, but because we had a lot of breakouts that just failed, and there'd be like high volume pumps that just burn out almost instantly. Whereas in these conditions, you know, all you need to look at is like Tia, WLD yesterday. WLD was a fucking great trade. You know, breaking out of this, that was like a 30%? Yeah, 38% move, like absolutely incredible. It was 30 from where I was looking at it, which is the range break down here. Like that, you know, absolutely incredible rotation. Talked about that a lot. Is it over if we've lost 31 or 32k? I think what if we lose 31k, so if we lose like this big pivot here, and you know, we actually move below that, I think I'm at like 31.6 is probably my line in the sand, as opposed to 31 flat, which, I mean, I guess there's arguments for either or, to be honest. It's broadly the same. You know, I'm not doing this to the penny, I'm doing it as in what areas do I think price is going to react to, and then I let the market show me that reaction. I'm not like trying to draw a technical level to an exact price point. But yeah, like to me, if we go back in this, then that's, you know, I'm probably going to take some time off, or at least just trade far less actively. Because the reality of it is, if we're just in a strong downtrend, then, you know, alt rotations will be pretty shit. There's a lot of questions around what's that kind of narrative post ETF and all that kind of stuff, and I wonder, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Like, ETF is approved, hooray, Bitcoin ETF is there. Let's say we get an ETH one as well, not an XRP one like the fake news last night. What do you think is going to happen? There's a lot of discussion around whether it's a sell the news event. There's a lot of discussion around whether there's then anything really to kind of keep the price of Bitcoin sustainable, and whether this is kind of all ETF hype. Someone tweeted ETF rejected. ETF is overrated, not gonna lie. Slow moon over 10 years. I like that. That's a very eminently sensible answer, Sap. Share the link if you want, mate, but I'm not going to click it. So yeah, like for me, I don't care. Like I'm not going to just blindly trade garbage, like news and hype it all up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some levels, and I'm going to take some trade plans, and I'm just going to try and play alt rotations. You know, and if we start thinking in terms of if this happens then this, you know, if this then that, and yada yada yada, like don't get me wrong, there will probably be an absolutely incredible news trade if you're a very fast news trader with a good system to take advantage of that. ETF gets approved, bang, Bitcoin probably goes up 5, 10, 15% on that day, right? And that's going to be one of those days that you'll remember forever, especially if you take the trade, and you are long into that, and you will just notice that, you know, your P&L has gone up fucking massively. But having a plan for that, you know, one thing like when the XRP news came in, and I remember it vividly like it was yesterday, because, you know, it wasn't yesterday, but yeah, we'll talk about it briefly, because I didn't get in right at the bottom, right? You know, I was, despite the fact that I shared like one of the best like charts, like I did something like this a couple of nights before on the stream, and it was literally like that. I think I tweeted about it as well. I wasn't pre-positioned, and this, like, I got in somewhere down here. It was up like 10 or 13% or something by the time I got in, and you know, I knew, or I didn't know that that's wrong. I didn't know. You know, I'm not going to claim to be some sort of guru that knows everything, because I certainly don't. You know, I had a very positive expectation that XRP would, the positive news would do more than 13% or whatever it was up. So I just just marketed in with decent size and just rode it up, and then I closed it around here, and I noticed it was still going, and on stream with the group I literally longed here and closed here somewhere and took another, like, I don't know, I think it was like 8% out of the market. Like, the scale of the event and the quantum of what it's meant in terms of like the entire market pouring into XRP, because if you saw Spaghetti that day, Spaghetti was literally like every other altcoin doing this and just XRP doing this, like massive liquidity grab. And obviously we'll get similar, or my view, not obviously, my view is we will get similar on BTC, and whether that means that alts will kind of die off on the basis of, you know, they're all kind of a proxy to BTC, but actually we get a Bitcoin rotation like we used to in 2017. So in 2017, like, everything was Bitcoin denominated pairs, so you'd have like altcoin slash BTC. There wasn't like altcoin slash USDT pairs, so you had to swap your Bitcoin for altcoins, and when that happened, you would see Bitcoin do this and alts do this. You know, as opposed to now, which is where if you're trading alt USD pairs, typically Bitcoin goes up, alts tend to go up with it, either more than BTC or at least slightly behind it, but they're still going up. Bitcoin ranges, and there's a little bit of risk on, alts will go up, and if Bitcoin starts shitting the bed, your alts will shit the bed very, very quickly, as we have just seen. But yeah, that whole dynamic, I think, could happen if we get, as in alts down, Bitcoin up massively, when we get ETF approval. So having that kind of mental structure and framework already in place will help massively whenever we get some news. Bitcoin is really struggling with this. Interesting. The only day that I wasn't available for the whole day to look at Twitter on TradingView, the XRP pump happened. I'll always remember that. Yeah. It's often the way, though, is, you know, you cannot be active every day. I mean, you can, but it's such a sacrifice, and you're always going to miss something. You know, you have to sleep at some point. You're going to make bad decisions if you're tired, etc. Like, there's so many things where you just go, like, is it worth it? And I think, you know, crypto is definitely a market that people should be involved in my mind, if they want to make, you know, exponential wealth, because, you know, there's no other opportunity like it out there in the world that I'm aware of, that's this easy. And I don't mean easy as in you should be the greatest trader in the world and you can 1,000,000x your portfolio tomorrow, join my paid group, etc. I mean, it really takes you a small bit of capital. You can even earn money in crypto with some of the people that, you know, you can work for a DAO, you can do some memes, you can do some artwork, you can do loads of different things to actually earn money in crypto and get your stack. You can do airdrops. You can be an airdrop farmer. You can do loads of things to actually get that initial stack up together. And then, you know, some of the opportunity that we've had, I mean, look, like tier, like fucking up 40% today. Like, I'm not saying you should just blind along with 100x leverage and yada, yada, yada. Not many people did. I do know some people that are accumulating this range, and it's, you know, well up like 160%, like in a couple of days. Absolutely incredible. You know, I don't think any other market in the world really gives you this opportunity and is as easy, and you have such good free resources such as crypto Twitter. I'm active every day except that one, I swear to God. Yeah, well, it's always going to be that way, my friend. You know, you go to sleep and the coin that you wanted to long pumps massively. You wake up and you're stopped out, you know, by a single pip on a trade. You know, literally hits your stop loss and then fucks off the Valhalla. You're going to have all of that, and you kind of beat yourself up over that. But equally, there'll be the times where you sell here. You sell literally here, and then price just goes like that and goes whoosh and goes the other way. And you tend not to remember that as much, but you know, it kind of balances itself out over time. I have a question. I have my funds in full Bitcoin. I would like to know if it was still reasonable to start my diversification alt now, or if it was too late. Ooh, that's $1 million question, isn't it? I mean, I don't think you're going too wrong with the Bitcoin narrative, in all fairness. Whilst I love altcoins because I think altcoins are a great multiplier of Bitcoin, you know, you use them to essentially front run and outperform BTC if you're in the right alts. That is difficult, and like, most people won't say that. They'll say that altcoins are, you know, easy way, easy money, yada, yada, yada. And that's all well and good. But one thing that you can do with spaghetti is see if that is bullshit or not. So if you had invested in Bitcoin at the start of the year, 1st of January 2023, like, you would be up 106%. Absolutely incredible. You've beaten all the hedge funds. Well done. Woo! You're a fucking Chad, right? If you invested in pretty much any other altcoin apart from the few up here, like, you're not going to be... You're going to be worse off. You're going to be worse off if you invested in those altcoins. These ones outperformed it. INJ, CFX, TRB, probably seen all of these on Twitter at some point. Now, unless you kind of know what you're doing, and you have a thesis, and you can play rotations, and or you can manage risk, like, genuinely, I think it's harder to trade altcoins, and it's harder to hold spot altcoins than just raw BTC. That said, in 2021, that's where I made the vast majority of my money, was it holding strong altcoins such as Rune, which did well over 1000x. So, you know, are you going to get 1000x out of Rune now? Like, absolutely not. I can say that pretty certainly. But, you know, altcoins are the place to be if you want those kind of exponential, crazy returns. But equally, you know, TRB and stuff, CFX, only did an 18x. I say only because most people have like if you have a $10,000 portfolio, right, and you get an 18x, like, absolutely incredible, wonderful stuff. 180k, I don't know about where all you guys live, but 180k in the UK is probably post-tax If you're talking about dollars to GBP, post-tax, you're probably talking about like £90,000, which is about a deposit for a house. Or a deposit and a little bit of it paid off, maybe a nice holiday, something like that, which is lovely, obviously, but yeah. If you want the real degenerate returns, unfortunately, it's the rug world of low-cap shitcoins and being super early to things. So I haven't really answered your question, because it's really difficult to know. Personally, I wouldn't be... If I was in your shoes and I was just purely exposed to Bitcoin, I was sat there chilling, I would just be literally sat there chilling, and I would just be, let's see how far I can ride this Bitcoin for, and just... You can see my thought processes here around levels that I'm interested in interacting with. I think 32-ish is the level to bid, and I think if we went down to 31-ish, then that would be where I'd be like exiting. I think there's probably still more gas in the tank on BTC. I'd be looking for a move away or around the 50, so I'm really interested in these levels. But it also depends on your risk appetite. But yeah. High ticket Bitcoin? No, I don't think so. Yeah, that's kind of my thought process. I think people romanticize altcoins, but, you know, unobjectively, and actually I can do it with all of Binance. So if you bear with me one moment, callers. Your call is important to us. Buy ticker Bitcoin. No. So yeah, I mean I think alt rotations in general are the way to play this market at the moment, and I think that's from a trader's mindset and a trading perspective. It's not from like an investor's perspective. Does that make sense? So I'm just checking the music. There we go. I think it's hard to rotate into altcoins if you're not used to it. Don't get me wrong, like I think there's... The way I did 2021 was I had 25% Bitcoin and ETH, 25% in spot altcoins, so things like Rune and various other alts. Some of them did really well. Tomo, I had a massive position in Tomo, and various others. I had 25% trading balance, and then I had kind of 25% in basically shitcoins, like proper degenerate shite, and things like NFTs, which obviously did very well with, and various other bits. So I was a bit more spread in terms of my exposure, and that's partly because I wanted to be. I wanted to learn more about the space and different angles. I also thought that there would be, you know, there's always a good risk reward for being early in things, even if you're wrong. There's the classic quote from Margin Call, which is there's three ways to make money. You're early, you cheat, or you're smart, and that's kind of it. Or that's the gist of it anyway. And that being early thing genuinely makes up for the other two. If you can just be early in something. I know a friend who he lost everything in the crash in May 2021. So every alt went down 75%. Everyone's talking about let's go to that. This is a crash. Like this is a crash. Like everyone's like, oh, this is horrific. It's like, yeah, okay, it is. It's not great, but let's talk about Matic. Where are you, fucker? There we go. Still the best trade of my life. This is an hourly candle. Right? 60% down in a day. Ooh. 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 You boys think this is bad. Right? We went down 36%. Back up 46%. Back up 125%. And then back down 40%. Fucking hell, boys. From 1k to 170k to 0 on that day. Holy shit, Chris. That is incredible. Not the 0 part, maybe. But the 1k to 178k is absolutely nuts. Like, bearing in mind, right, that is 1 day. That is the 19th of May, 2021. Looks like an illiquid meme coin. So Matic was the most traded coin in the market, because if you look, it had this absolutely, like, that parabolic run up there, like, put it massively on my radar. And I managed to catch a short in this here. So I woke up fucking so hungover, because I was out the night before. I remember that vividly as well for different reasons. And I was out, I woke up hungover, and I shorted this, and I closed it down here somewhere, and I wrote it back up the same day. And I was like, oh my god, I am literally the end of this cycle compared to the end of 2017 cycle. I went to Twitter to post all about it, and everyone was basically like, you know, they were all devastated, and I thought that was probably not the right time to gloat and like flex a P&L or anything like that. So we'll just do a risk management thread instead, or some bullshit like that. But yeah, that was fucking crazy. So, you know, in a day, like, and this wasn't exclusive to Matic either. The entire market did this. So, you know, show P&L. No. All right, Mr. Taxman. Yeah, that's nuts. Like, I think that kind of extreme event shows you like what happens when a huge amount of leverage is in the system. You know, those moves absolutely massive. You know, if you were a truly, you know, god tier trader, you could have got like I don't know, hundreds of % out of that. P&L didn't happen. It's on FTX, mate. I've probably got the screenshot on my old PC. I sent one of my friends the screenshot because I was a little bit euphoric on that day. But one of my non-crypto friends, because all my other crypto friends got right. Sadly. Well, not all my crypto friends. Some of them did. But yeah, if people want to start trading this market, like I posted this earlier, and I posted the I'll chuck it in the chat just quickly. I posted the link for Altcoin Spaghetti, and the reason that I posted it is because I genuinely believe that, especially if you're growing a kind of smaller balance, that it's one of the nicest ways to generate some trade ideas, and it's one of the nicest ways to kind of participate in the market. Now, this is my personal experience. This is how I see the market. This is how I interact with it. This is the way that I like to view it, and everyone's going to have to try and make sense of the market in their own way, right? But the way that I do it, this is, you know, this stream's going off into a bit of a lecture as opposed to anything else. But you can copy this, or you can take it from the tweet that I put in chat, either on Twitch or on YouTube, and you can take this chart and you can just see what happens. Now, what you're looking for typically is having a thesis on what's going to perform well. So you've seen the tier has been performing well. You probably want to long tier when you can. You know, even here you can see that there is, you know, a classic simple setup around you know, a level and a range essentially. So you have this kind of ranging play. You have let's go to the actual tier chart. What were we on there? 15 minutes. Let's go. So, you know, you just start drawing up some levels. If you're like me and lazy, you can use VRVP to start, you know, doing them a little bit manually for you. Look at, you know, where are we reclaiming levels? Where are we? I'm going to actually turn VRVP off because this chart's a little bit messy. I didn't trade this today. I had to be out, unfortunately, family commitments and stuff. But where am I looking to, you know, build positions? Where am I getting the confirmation from that my position is kind of right? Well, I get it from low time frame spaghetti. I often get like signals like this, where you've got one coin that's just, you know, even if you replay it, you can start seeing that the coin that was in play, surprise, surprise, it's still in play. And actually this vicious V in terms of, you know, the entire market shitting the bed, you know, it's usually a good place to look for a rotation and actually try and get on board something. Now, what time was that? 1856. So we're up here somewhere. So you're, you know, down on this. You're seeing this, and you're just seeing like ranges. So all I see generally is ranges. You've had this, you know, big move. Reclaim the range. You've got an invalidation. That's kind of it. Ride a rotation up, like that kind of thought process is really, really simple. But I think that honestly gives you such good opportunities in this market. What was the one the other day? It was WLD. So we've had rotations on new coins, we've had rotations on kind of unpumped coins, and, you know, ones that haven't done too much. WLD is one of those. You know, we talked about that. Talked about like this kind of thought process and breakout play in terms of a rotation. You know, we've had this high time frame pivot. We've talked about this on a couple of streams before. We've talked about, you know, how it essentially, you know, there's support until it breaks down. There's resistance, breakthrough, you know, little consolidation under, reject again, blast through on high volume, consolidate, and typically you get that consolidation at a high time frame pivot and you want to look to long it. Now I'm a little bit more risk averse, so there are kind of two places that you can long these things, or you can try to long these things. You can try and long on like a reclaim, something like that, so that gives you a nice confirmation of strength. So there would have been the first opportunity to do that. There, which was just a simple tag and a move up. You know, you can take those extremes if you want to. What I prefer, especially in these conditions, is, you know, going for a breakout play and letting that breakout play confirm to me with relative strength to the market. And how do you do that, Charlie? Well, you look at this chart. This chart tells you what's going on, and this chart told me, whatever it was, that, you know, my PC seems to be dying, that WLD is actually, you know, in play. The rest of the market's kind of doing fuck all, and WLD is starting to move. So that's, you know, that for me is how you kind of build up a simple trade thesis, and you use spaghetti to kind of confirm that thought process. And like, you're gonna have so much more fun and EV, you know, in your favor if you are longing the stronger alts, right? And you'll see that I've highlighted ones that I particularly like and want to pay attention to. So like LDO, I'm very strong in terms of ETH, beta, and proxy. I've talked about that a fuck ton, so hopefully that's not news to any of you guys. TIA, which we've just gone through, and we talked a lot about, especially as someone's naming his daughter TIA, which is quite wonderful. Keep asking for links. I mean, literally scroll up on YouTube, my friend. But there it is. If you are on YouTube, it is there. And if you're on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe and do all that bullshit so that the algo loves me and thinks I am a champion amongst men, women, and children. Oh, it doesn't show old chat? Oh, my apologies then. I whiffed it. Just make the spaghetti. It's not hard. No, it's not hard. You know, I'm not trying to sell this as some form of massive alpha or anything. It's literally hit the fucking compare button up there, right? And just create it and change some colors, right? But I've just saved you a little bit of time. So, you know, hopefully you can appreciate that. Yeah, people can't figure stuff out. Well, people can. It's just, if you don't know it's there. Like, even Ansem quoted my tweet today and said, oh, I didn't realize you could share setups on TradingView. I'm like, yeah, I only found it accidentally. So you can literally go up here and you can go share, and you can make the link visible. So people can then click that and see what you see. And so someone actually DM'd me and said, when I was doing my outlook on Sunday for the group, so I think I did it on Monday actually, and I do, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for, I'm looking at this, yada yada yada, this is what I'm thinking, blah blah blah, and they said they loaded this up and they saw like all my thought process and all my arrows and my squiggles, and they were like, oh, good to see what you're thinking. I think I was talking about WLD, and yeah, so I've got to kind of not use this one for the source. Time frame shows 1 week. So what you can do up here is you can make a copy of it, and you can use that and make your own copy, and you should be able to change your time frame appropriately. So yeah, that's probably enough of that. Do anything else? Deleting all of that, like, it's similar here, right? Like, if you want to learn about ranges, like SC and XO are both incredible range traders, and they kind of taught me a lot, especially SC. I'll never forget when I interviewed him in the Paragon, and he basically said just don't fucking diddle in the middle. There is just literally 0 point in diddling there, like, and ever since I've stopped fucking around in like the middle of a range, my hit rate has improved massively, and that might be common sense to some of you, but it was kind of a game changer for me. So even if I saw a rotational play and it was sat in the middle of a range, around a point of control or something like that, like I would have still taken that. But simple things of like changing that and going, well, actually, if I see it here, well, I've got both an invalidation, I've got relative strength, I've got loads of wonderful things supporting me. If I see it up here, I'm quite confident then that a breakout play is going to happen, and actually, longing into resistance, while it seems fucking stupid, in these conditions, it pays off. And by in these conditions, what I mean is risk on moves, typically, when they actually start moving. Now, I'm not saying I've got 100% hit rate, absolutely nowhere near that. Managing your risk, and if it fails, if it does this and starts stalling, or if it literally goes up and comes back into the range, I'm cutting that as quickly as I possibly can. That is a failed breakout, and you literally just want to see it go like this, right? I don't want to see it stall or fuck around. So, a little bit of insight into my A, mindset. So, time is a factor in my trading. B, setting up some simple ranges. And C, using Spaghetti to really just give you that confirmation to click the button and to go, yeah, I'm happy with this trade, I'm going to take it. Everything is telling me that this coin is outperforming the market, and I'm actually picking one of the winners. Mildly annoyed that I missed LDO. LDO is one of my faves, and I was also longing that. So a good example of that was I was longing that yesterday. I was literally longing for a breakout up here. So, delete all these stupid lines. We'll just turn this off. But an example of that thought process, kind of an action that failed, is again, it's not perfect, but we attacked the highs, we deviated the highs, we sold off. That's a pretty classic move after a strong move up. Sweep the highs and then fuck off. You see that again and again and again and again. And now we're moving back into those highs, and my thought process on this was, here's a change of market structure, a nice kind of bullish market structure. We've kind of kept that there with this, and actually if we attack this again, we're probably going to get a decent rotation out of it. There was relative strength on this move, but alas, it did not happen. And you've got some really clean kind of invalidation. I'll just do this. You do not want it to go anywhere near there, and for me, the actual invalidation for me was literally that kind of diagonal move. I wanted to see it just continue and just break out and go. We need a few live trading sessions. The thing with that is that, well, one, I'm terrible at multitasking. Absolutely terrible. And I've tried it before, and what it does is it makes me want to trade all the time. Whereas one of the things that I do, and I'm quite good at, is patience. But you're right. I could just chuck it, like a lot of people seem to be doing challenge accounts, which I think is, I'm just gonna say it, it's really fucking pointless. Like, oh, I'm doing a challenge account with $1,000. Like, if you've got $100,000, why aren't you just making money? I just don't get it. Like, these are some of the best conditions you'll get in your life. Why trade with $1,000? But whatever. Obviously, I'm just a skeptic. Oh, look, I 10x'd it. Oh, 100x'd it. Oh, well done. You could have literally done a lot more. I don't know. Maybe I'm just the skeptic. Even one session would be very helpful. Yeah, I mean, I need to do a bit more of that. Trying to get people to use the affiliate link. There, maybe. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some technical, very technical skill to it. There's the ability to just take purely IEV trades at extremes and manage positions well, etc. Don't know too many of them who actually do it on a public wallet or a link that actually tracks all of their trades, e.g. like a Binance leaderboard. Absolute shout out to the smartmoney.eth guy, or whatever his name is, smartestmoney.eth. Like, fuck me, he's got all his wallets public and he's just like, this is what I'm doing. Boosh. With good size as well, very good size. Like, I think he's got like 10-20 million just sat there publicly, just crushing it. That guy's a nutter. Yeah, I mean, he's a very good trader. Very good. But yeah, let's go back to some markets. Let's go chat some shite. Or not chat some shite. Right. So, what bags do we want to buy? Has anyone got any bags that they want to buy? Is anyone loading up on these dips? I'm happy to talk about some of your bags. Make a little change, shall we? IDX. Oof. Again, high time frame pivotal level. Really like that thought process. I completely missed this one, I'm not going to lie. But, high time frame levels for complements. And just easy high time frame bias. See if we actually got a decent pullback. No, bastards. Waiting for Capo prophecy to be true. Sup, Fresh? Hey, Ruck. Missed my short on FTM. Short the local top, too much size. Cut after 2 hours. PNL swings and make my eyes. Well, I just checked the missed on the 10% of the move. Would have made more money with less risk if I hadn't been a greedy tit. Yeah, it happens all the time, man. Like, if, I still remember there was one trade on Ape where I massively oversized. And whilst it was a good trade, the P&L ticks were my entire portfolio. Well, a lot more than my entire portfolio when I started. And it was moving by a cent. A 1 cent move was just like, boop, there's your portfolio. Like your original one, like way back when I started. Boop, there's it's gone. It was just, I was sweating like a something. Yeah, I can't say that expression on Twitch or YouTube, I don't think. Yes, there was a British expression that you might know. Yeah, let's look at next steps, because I mean, for me, like, I don't think maintaining a high time frame bearish bias is reasonable. Like I explained on Bitcoin, I think a pullback is healthy. I think wiping some leverage out of the system makes perfect sense, and I think that even from a kind of not 4-hour perspective, but from a daily perspective, testing that 50 isn't unreasonable at all. It would put us down here somewhere, which is kind of in line with the levels that I'm looking to get on board the long side, and that would just punish alts a little bit more. Something on a playground, that's the one. On-chain cat knows it. ETH BTC, really not too much to say. I'm not that excited about it. I think ETH BTC probably does have a rally at some point, but let's think about the market-wide context. Bitcoin ETF, Bitcoin narrative, blah, 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 Bitcoin driven. We've talked about alt beta since the start of the year. You know, it's basically Bitcoin. Like, let's not fool ourselves. Bitcoin has been one of the best performing assets. Like, the majority of alts are well under it. So until that really shifts, you know, I can't get too excited. Do I think it's going to shift? Probably not. But where would I start getting really excited? You know, literally a reclaim of that 0.06 level. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think all the ETH maxis and all the alt maxis are just going to have a little bit of a disappointing time. But I love the rotations. So, you know, ETH, not too much to talk about. Ape, I was actually looking for a short on Ape from the, what's it called? The Ape Fest shite event. But, see, the Sol Maxis loved that tweet. Absolutely loved it. Interestingly though, if you take that away, they will not love my next one, which is going to be this. Can you imagine the salt? Solana. ETC actually had a really good run the other day. Yeah, I longed it down here as I was doing my outlook, and it literally went like that as I was doing my bloody outlook. It's like, so guys, I'm gonna long ETC because the ETH beta play, blah blah blah. And then I looked, I could see it in my watch list just creeping up. I was like, oh, it's actually going. But yeah, like, it's had a really nice move. The problem that I've got with like ETC and like what I've just said about ETH is that like ETC is, you know, pretty illiquid in terms of like it's not the greatest to trade. And like if it does come back down to this high time frame pivot, you know, you're probably looking at that kind of altcoin roller coaster effect of, you know, first move, next move, and then, you know, we go back in time. But that momentum, yeah, the bouncing ball kind of momentum on alts, where the first breakout is really strong, and then actually it just does this and just dies. That's probably a better drawing of it. So I'm not particularly interested in ETC generally, particularly with what I said about ETH BTC, and everything else. But, you know, I could be wrong. I think the ETH proxy play for me has always been, as anyone who's tuned into the stream will know, LDO. I think this is where you're just looking at like simple level reclaims to go, well, actually, you literally had this bearish retest here. You know, I'm not that I would have taken that short necessarily. I wouldn't have taken that short. Let me be very clear, actually. I would not, because I am generally long altcoins. You know, a reclaim of this, of 22251 or 57 or whatever, on high beta, that's kind of a nice fresh long for me. If we get it, if we get the relative strength, if we get all of that together, you know, that would be quite nice, and I would anticipate like next leg up. See obviously how it reacts at these kind of highs, and you know, if you are getting that rejection, you can obviously hedge and try and play around this. But if you are firing off into that on high beta, firing up into that on high beta and high relative strength compared to the rest of the market, like LDO is a coin that I definitely want to be long on. I've talked about Pepe a little bit because Pepe is one of the, you know, highest beta coins there is. It's very interesting in my mind in general because it's a good proxy for like risk on or risk off in the market. See if we've got anything like reasonably interesting on RSI, 50 kind of RSI reset. Still got that bullish market structure at basically a range low. There's not any kind of divergence to play off, sadly. So I was just looking at these. Let's delete all that, all my alerts have set off. But you've basically got this range. You've got these highs here. You know, I was hoping for some form of divergence down at these lows, but that is, you know, you can say it's a div, but it's a very very shite and inactionable one, in my opinion. Yeah, so I'd be basically longing into not much. Well, I'd be longing, so basically, I'll explain that comment. Longing into not much. What I mean is, I'm longing off an imaginary line I drew. I've got no sign of relative strength. I've got no sign of a divergence. I've got nothing really telling me that actually, you know, tick, 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 there's all these reasons why you should long it. It's actually just dying, and I think it's going to go up because I drew a line. So, total 2. Yeah, so some of the total charts are actually really interesting. You know, I'm going to start with this one, which is the USDT, USDC, and BUSD market cap. And anyone who was on the stream the other week, I said, like, this is one of my proxies for is money coming in to the market? Yes, no. You know, it's a proxy. It's not a perfect calculation, but this is a really, really bullish sign in terms of if there is, you know, actual fiat money being converted into crypto. That indicator down there is RSI. This is RSI. Yep, it's literally just a kind of customized one, and that's awesome oscillator, but it's only customized on the basis of some of these colorings, so it's nothing particularly fancy. But yeah, that's really interesting. Total 2. You know, I posted this the other day and said, like, what do you think about alt season? I mean, this is an alt season, this is an alt season, so this is the total crypto market cap excluding BTC. So ignoring what BTC is doing, you know, this run up here, massive alt season, right? The whole market just exploded. This up here, again, exploded. This here, so we feel like, because we've been, you know, not spoiled, we feel like this here is alt season. What am I doing? Where is my rectangle? That is alt season. Like, and this is why everyone's getting super excited about this. Oh, it's the next bull run, this is that, it is the other, right? I'm not in that same space, and I haven't been, and I've said that time and time and time again. I'm here to extract value out of the market. I'm here to long altcoins predominantly, but I haven't invested huge amounts of capital at this point in terms of, you know, just buying spot anything. And yes, I missed out on some opportunity, but I also managed my risk really, really well. So, you know, I will praise myself for the things that I'm good at. But if this starts going like this, you know, this is a good conjecture point for me to start piling on risk if I want to for the next leg up. You know, if the market starts really running, this is a great place to do it. Great, but yeah, it's effectively a range breakout, and we've got some confluence with like wider market factors. You know, the dollar absolutely shitting the bed. Like, great, like this, the dollar's now under 104. Like, that is absolutely incredible for risk on assets. You know, S&P going fucking bananas. Like, it's great. Like, so do I think everyone is super late? Do I think you can't make money out of this market and you can't be like net long? No, absolutely not. Would it have been better to have done it, you know, January this year? Yeah, of course. But, you know, luckily for me, I can actually trade this market to the long side very well. That is literally my core skill set. So, you know, if we do get another run up like this, it's going to be print big money time. Like, you know, even though it's like depreciating each time in terms of a percent gain, whatever. Yeah, so 15x. 2x from that low, but arguably it's still part of the same cycle, right? So maybe you just call it 16x. Even if this just did like an 8x, which even if it did like a 3x, it's, you know, well up there. 4x, you're kind of looking up there. Like, you know, that's when easy mode really kicks in. You know, like, to me, this has been easy mode the last couple of weeks, right? It's been great. But like, if we get true degeneracy, and anywhere near like 2017 or 2021, like that's when it'll just become silly season, in my honest opinion. But yeah, thanks for bringing up total 2, my friend. That's you know, a really interesting chart. I think it is anyway, and hopefully you guys understand why I think that. Purely just because of these bounds. And don't get me wrong, right? Like, we've rallied off the lows. Like, the lows down here, you know, the whole market's kind of gone up 52, or sorry, the whole altcoin market's gone up 52%, and arguably more than that because of all the on-chain stuff that isn't included in this chart. You know, things like Grok, which are absolutely wonderful in terms of what happened yesterday. Any thoughts on scale? No, sorry, mate. I can load the chart, have a quick peep, but since you asked so nicely. No, I mean, stuff like this just doesn't really like interest me too much. You know, there's probably, it was around last cycle, so it's not a new coin. You know, it's like done the classic alt cycle bounce of huge move, like diminishing returns, and now it's just dead, and now it's starting to go again. You know, I personally think that there's better opportunities out there for other coins, typically newer coins. I mean, look down the list, right? Even just literally flicking through it, like stuff like PAL, just absolutely flown. I should probably post this tweet on Twitter. What are we up now? Fucking Jesus. Nice 4x on that from this stupid previous, what was it? Oh, it was this one, wasn't it? It's that classic all-time high retest and then breakout and fucks off without you. And that is literally, you know, what PAL has done. Sushi. Sushi's an interesting one. I've seen a couple of my friends buying sushi. I was gonna say, I thought I had it on here somewhere. Yeah, sushi's the same kind of thing, right? Massive breakout, you know, huge low time frame, like accumulation range. But I'm just not interested in it. I'm just not interested in it because it's so kind of, well, one, it's reasonably illiquid, and two, like, I don't particularly like the whole DeFi narrative. If I'm honest, I think it's come and gone. And I'll be proved wrong, I'm sure. And everyone, oh, didn't go DeFi. But I'm more than happy with that. You know, getting my 3% yields off of high-risk shitcoins, whilst bonds give me 5%. Government-backed bonds. I don't really see the need for DeFi in that respect. Rune, on the other hand, we can talk about Rune if you really want some high beta Bitcoin, and let's just point out that Rune is one of the very few alts, and there he is in green, that has absolutely outperformed the rest of the market. Well, not all the market, but 99% of it, including 30 BTC. So where's Rune? I still have a bag of Rune that I could have sold for $20 a pop, but I didn't. Just to put it in perspective. I thought I had Rune. Yep, there's my alert where I'm buying Rune, which didn't work out too well. What have we got on Rune? Have a peep. It's not as clean as I'd have liked, to be fair. So this is where, you know, price action is quite janky, and I use that word. It's not particularly clean. You know, you don't have to trade it. Like, I'm trying to draw some levels, and it's just not particularly wonderful in terms of maybe switch to a Renko chart or something and try and find, you know, a bit cleaner levels, but it's just not. You know, I like it when it literally bounds between, you know, range, drops, reclaim, and you've got, like, you know, consistent points to sort of look at. Yeah, not particularly wonderful. Maybe I could try some on a rotation. How long did it take you to get used to the markets comfortably since starting? Ooh, it's a good question. I don't think I'm ever comfortable. I don't think I'm ever in the situation where I'm like, oh, this is super comfy. I think if you get, I suppose I'm a lot less stressed about it than I ever was. You know, I don't worry about positions. I don't worry about money on exchanges. I don't worry about investments on altcoins or anything like that. I don't care about that anymore. But in terms of, do I put it? Comfortable. Like, I think that there's an edge to kind of being on edge and not thinking the market's going to rug you at any point, but being able to adapt quite quickly to what's happening in front of you. You know, have you ever had that scenario where you I don't know, you start longing this, let's say. Start longing this and you go, well, yeah, this is just a range play, this is nice and easy. I saw BTC Charlie talk about this a couple of weeks ago. This is like the easiest long of my life. We've reclaimed the range. I'm just gonna long it. I'm just gonna long it, and then you go, oh, actually, it's just dumped. Oh shit, well that's fine because it'll probably bounce here. It's actually bouncing quite. Oh, it's gone down even further. Oh, it's gone down. You just find yourself like a deer in headlights. Like, you know, I used to get like that when I first started trading, and it was because I kind of got complacent with everything. So I think having a little bit of, not fear, but just a little bit of uncomfortableness in terms of you've taken the position, you understand why you've took the position, but you are fully aware that if the market, you know, goes against you, and particularly like low time frame scalping, right? Like if I'm doing a high time frame swing position, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to set a stop and set a TP, and if it gets to either of them, great. When it gets to either of them, because I doubt it's just going to range ad infinitum. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like super comfortable. I'm comfortable with my system, with my processes, but I like to stay alert. That's probably the better way of putting it. But really to build up like the confidence in your trading, because there's not many people that go to work and come home poorer. You know, you can sit in front of the computer for 12 hours and you can end up losing thousands of dollars, and then you go say to your wife, hey, how's it going? And she says, oh yeah, good, how was your day? And you go, well, you know that car you wanted? Well, that's not happening. Like, there's just not many quote-unquote jobs that have that nuance. So getting through that psychologically, and part of that process of, you know, thinking in weeks, months, years, not days, you know, whilst you are down X figures today, tomorrow you might be up Y. You know, this is like personal voice of experience. Losing X amount, you know, a few weeks ago, down a little bit, take a little nudge on the P&L. This week, you know, it's like that. So like that is just completely insurmountable. Oh, sorry, insignificant to, you know, what's happened. But over the course of time, I want it to be like this. I don't really care about the intraday movements. Last week, someone even DM'd me saying, you sound euphoric as fuck after my stream. And it's because I was, right? Because I was. These conditions are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Charlie, when you trade, do you use normal or perp charts on TradingView, or doesn't matter? So it kind of does matter, particularly if you're using disjointed charts in terms of you know, something like TRB, where the perp is you know, like the perp price and the spot price are massively different, right? But for me, I tend to just use the perp on whatever exchange I'm trading on, or Binance, because Binance is like still the largest kind of player. And sometimes you get the whole wicked on Binance, it didn't wick on Bybit, or vice versa. And you know, like looking at this wick here, like maybe that's on Binance, but it's not on Bybit because Bybit never touched these lows, and that can be a bit like irritating. But you know, the principle is still the same. Like I'm just trading the chart in front of me, even though there's probably a piece of software or something that can aggregate that view. You know, I don't need it to be completely perfect. So if I'm trading on Bybit, I'm using Bybit perp charts. I mean, use either or. I think Magus would tell you to use Binance, to be honest, because Binance has the highest volume and probably deepest liquidity. I hear his voice in the back of my head. Yeah, I've got to post my post my Solana. This thing's just gonna fucking pop, isn't it? Jesus. Manlets are really when you're running things. Like this, like if I wanted to jump on board, it's literally a case of we've got that change in market structure. I'm longing like this for a breakout, basically. Going like that, and going, I reckon it gets up to like these highs at least. Yeah, there's a rotation, there's a whatever it is, fucking 10-hour trade. Like, and then if it stops, yeah, if it starts stalling, which it's hard to do with just one monitor. I want to see Sol have a pretty good rotation, and for some reason when I'm streaming, I guess it's because my upload's getting fucked by the stream itself, I want to see Sol starting to show strength, which it isn't. I mean, it's in here somewhere. I think that's Sol. Like, the other purple one is Sol. Oh, whatever, wherever it is. I want to see that. Yeah, not happening. No. So literally tighten and probably get stopped out. Yeah. Not great. Watch have a chat, copy that trade and get liquidated. Oh god no. This is the thing. I mean, honest to God, this is why I don't post a load of trading setups on Twitter, because when I was talking about CPI, I talked about CPI, and I literally did a squiggle like this, and I was like, oh, it's cheaper, I was going to do that. And someone top-longed on like 20x leverage and just got fucking annihilated, sent me their screenshots and were like, oh, I took your trade, rah, 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 you owe me $500 basically. And I was like, what? You know, what? Like, you know, there are levels. Like if I share stuff like this, you know, we talked about this like yesterday with XO, like, you know, there's this huge fucking level on ETH. Everyone's crying, everyone's watching it, and it is like literally just a bread and butter fucking baby pips type style move. You know, here's the first attempt, here's the second attempt in terms of we've now got a lower high. You're losing momentum basically across all your time frames, like it's just dying. Nothing decent in terms of like a div or anything like that to take. If I recall, yeah, no, nothing. But yeah, like changing market structure, rejection from a higher time frame level, like, oh look, it's all going to zero. Like that trade, if that works out to 1200, like that is fucking ridiculous, right? They look for reclaim and then just close. But someone would have taken that on 400x leverage and blamed me when it went to shit. When refunds are, Loomdart not responding either. Emotionally logging into resistance. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, that works sometimes on altcoins, particularly when you've got that relative strength supporting you, like as a you know, tailwind for your freight train to just bust through that level. I long into resistance, and I'm not fucking, you know, ashamed to say it in these conditions. LTC, my man is really going after LTC, and he's not gonna like what I have to say. It's a shit coin. Look at it. Look at it. Disgusting. Blech. Blech. I'm joking. I'm just giving you grief. I mean, like, I've got this level on there, and I've got this level on there for a reason. That it's really well kind of respected in terms of this, you know, blast through, rejection, or, you know, bounce. Like, it is very, very clean, and now we're fucking around with it, and we're threatening to close below it. Like, why would I want to be long that? Move above, reclaim, great, off to infinity. But I cannot be bullish here. Even though we've got like the AO cross, even though we've got like a 50 retest, like there's things for it, there's things against it. There's just no trade for me. So I can appreciate there are bullish signs, or that there are signs that there could, you know, it could continue up. But for me, I want to take a trade where I go, levels are good, RSI is good, relative strength is good, market structure is good, whatever. Like, there are all these things that just make me go, tick, Charlie, why aren't you in this trade? Why aren't you long in this? Here's a good position, and here's a good invalidation. Tick. You know, there's all these criteria that are kind of supporting this, and for this, it's kind of, eh. What happened to Bitcoin? I was watching that shit on Vale in the bathroom. What was the reason behind it? It's one of my favourite questions of all time. Why did people sell? I mean, I think we need to do a survey and ask them, to be honest. Like, we're not even about 30% since October low. Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to be longing strength. And I say it time and time again, like, I don't know why people want to be longing something that isn't performing particularly well relative to the rest of the market. Great stream, we've got to go play football. See ya, Charlie. See ya, Pantla. It's been an absolute pleasure. Christ, I've been banging on for 1 hour and 16 minutes. I think I'm going to... I'm going to call it a day in a minute. Good God. I haven't even eaten dinner yet. Whoops. Yeah, I appreciate everyone turning out for the stream. There's like 108 people, which is great. So bull market's back and all that. Are we printing off the Sol long? Everyone's retirement arcs Inc. But you can see my thought process, right? Someone was asking for like live trades. Kind of, there you go. Yeah, I just follow this up now. Like, literally just start following and just kind of keep going and do that. Obviously that's not the trade, so I'll do this so that I can claim clout on Twitter, or delete it so that you all forget about it, and we go from there. But yeah, like, literally just move stop up and just literally trail that motherfucker and keep going until it either hits these highs or comes back on itself. So long looks good for you, thanks. Yeah, but that's like how you play on rotations, right? And you're just moving it up, and if you get stopped out, sometimes you get stopped a little bit too early, sometimes you just lock in a little bit of profit, sometimes you don't. The thing that I don't like about it, in all honesty, is that for some reason I can't see Sol here. I mean, it's there. It's starting to become one of the better movers. But like the WLD trade the other day, you know, it was up here. It was literally like, it's so out of the pack, and now maybe we're starting to get that. Like, I do feel like a horse race commentator. So I'll go in for the 0.91, 0.87, oh, it's in the lead, oh, yeah, but that's literally what I'm looking for on no time frame. You know, it is starting to go. And that's where you're like, right, I need to be kind of holding on to this for a while and trying to make the most out of it. But obviously, as soon as Bitcoin starts shitting the bed at some point, you have to start thinking about taking some time off. Charlie, what would you do if you were massively on tier? That's my case. I want to add more, but that thing doesn't give a pullback. Good evening. That's a great question, and it's very difficult for me to talk about it because you've told me that you are in a massive position, and obviously the fact that you're asking means that it means a lot to you. It's very difficult because the thing that I always try and preach is that people should have, you know, a take profit place at some point, whether that is a monetary amount. So if you longed $100,000 of it in here somewhere, and you are now up, you know, $164,000 or whatever, and that is a huge amount of money to you, then you should probably take at least some of it, if not all of it, off the table. You know, it's kind of that relative piece. You know, if you're flexing P&L cards and all of that kind of wonderful stuff. If you are happy to just hold for like a change in market structure, you're probably going to be a bit disappointed if that gain goes from this to, you know, this, because, you know, on a 4-hour basis, your market structure kind of looks like this. and actually, a change. You either get a high here, which is the kind of first, sorry, a lower high here. The first change. If you want to be aggressive, you kind of take profit there, or you kind of risk it and actually, it just plows off because the market sells off generally. Oh, you've been taking profits. Problems want to add more compound. See, I don't think there's anything wrong with compounding. Sorry, I've misinterpreted your question. I actually think it's good because you're structurally, like, you want to add to this when it pulls back. You want to add to the #1 performing altcoin of the last few days. Fucking great. Absolutely great. Long until you're wrong. Cheap hooker strategy. If I had to sum up my trading style, it's those two. Do you want to get long dips on this? Like, I wouldn't be adding up here personally, purely because not aggressively anyway. I'd be playing. That's not great. There's not a lot there for me to really. It's messy. There's no like nice clean ranges, or I suppose it. I don't. It's just too. That's quite interesting. It's just not. We're getting to that point where everyone's participating in it, which makes the price action a bit shite. Yeah, strong sell-off. And level-ish reclaim. Nice move. But now back into the range, or back into this sort of range. Let's turn the RVP back on because that'll probably do it for me. Yeah, not really interested in playing around here again. If we get something like that on a bit of relative strength, maybe. But yeah, I don't think it's unwise to want to add to this position. But on a risk managed basis, that if you're longing, it's looking something like this, right? You're longing for the next leg up to whatever you think a reasonable target is, because obviously it's price discovery, whatever. But yeah, longing strong alts that's pretty much what I preach. Yes, thank you all for being here. I will be here the same time next week. Yeah, it kind of blows my mind. So thank you all for the support. Thank you all for being here, and I wish you the best of luck in the markets. And yeah, I will see you on next week's stream, and I will see you on Twitter. If you've got any questions, always just shout. I tend to respond to my DMs, unless those DMs are, can I have $6,000 please, which is what someone DM'd me today. I think if I gave them $6,000, my wife might have something to say. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully I've helped some thought processes, and I still think we are in a good environment for longing altcoins, just to be very clear. I think that for me, Bitcoin is approaching some really interesting levels. Those levels are marked out on here. I'll delete some of the brush work so that you can see that a little bit clearly. If we're holding this, then alts are going to remain strong, so continue to long altcoins. If we're dipping down here, then alts are going to get really, really shafted, and same for here. But these are levels that I'd be looking for reversals on BTC to get a big BTC long position, and where I'd be looking to essentially reaccumulate, but get in for some higher time frame 4-hour daily type plays on some alt pullbacks. So it is proxy play, it is talking about Bitcoin moving first and second order logic, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that in this Bitcoin denominated environment, minus the odd alt. And if you are playing alts, please use spaghetti or something to give you an indication of what is super strong. And obviously join my Pepe group, sign up to my ref link, and do all that kind of wonderful stuff. I'm joking. But I will see you on Twitter for some memes, some charts, and some other stuff. Au revoir. Have a good evening, day, night, afternoon, whatever it may be. Goodbye.
is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.